name's Ellen Street, and I'll be giving this lesson on the past progressive tense. This lesson is for adults in the workplace, specifically those that speak Chinese as a first language, and those that are at an intermediate level in English. Before we start, I want to explain the differences between English and Chinese, or rather one difference that will affect the way that you see this verb tense, and all verb tenses. In English, we take the verb and we change it just a little bit so we can understand when this verb happened. For example, we went. The verb has changed from go to went, so we know that it happened in the past. It happened before. In Chinese, in your language, we have a verb, but we don't change it at all. Instead, we have words that are next to it that affect the verb. It makes it so we can tell whether the verb happened in the future, happened in the past, happening currently. For example, yesterday, every day. Those are the words we're talking about. Here's an example of a past progressive verb. The way that you organize a past progressive verb is a conjugation of to be plus the verb, the normal verb, and then ing at the end. Ing, so we say. For example, here's the example of to eat. I was eating, you were eating, he, she, it was eating, we were eating, you all were eating, and they were eating. Say it with me. I was eating, you were eating, he, she, it was eating, we were eating, you all were eating, and they were eating. Now I want to zoom in on the part of the verb that is to be. If you see I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you all were, and they were. Notice the underlined ones. We have I was and he, she, it was. Those are different between the were, you were, we were, you all were, and they were. It's very important that you memorize this verb. It's going to appear in a lot of other verbs, so make sure that you understand these perfectly. I can't tell you why was and were is happening, but it's important that you memorize them. Now, why should we learn this past progressive anyway? What's the difference between simple past, just the regular old past? Well, this verb, you have a verb that's happening over a period of time in the past, and that's the past progressive. Then all of a sudden you have an event that happens. So you have to have this event that is happening, and then all of a sudden an event that cuts it off. And that's when you know to use the past progressive. For example, we have the past progressive in they were presenting. So the full sentence is, they were presenting a proposal when the fire alarm went off. So we have that they were presenting a proposal when the fire alarm went off. So you can see how there's the verb that's happening and then all of a sudden a verb that cuts it off. Another example, you can use negation or making it a negative, opposite from the positive. For example, he was fired because he wasn't working. He was fired because he wasn't working. So you can either have it at the beginning or the end. Past progressive can be at the end, as in this sentence, or as in the previous sentence, at the beginning. You can also put it in a question, such as, were they driving to work when the accident happened? So we have, were they driving to work when the accident happened? So you have past progressive, were they driving to work, and then the accident happened. You can also have two past progressives in the same sentence, such as, while they were finishing up the project, I was calling our other client. So you have two groups that are doing something at the same time. So while they were finishing up, past progressive, I was calling our other client, past progressive. Another thing that you should consider is key words that will be used in the past progressive, such as while. An example sentence is, while I was out of the office, my secretary left. So while I was out of the office, my secretary left. And then another one is when. I called my boss when the client was unhappy with the business deal. I called my boss when the client was unhappy with the business deal. So was unhappy with the business deal is the past progressive. Also notice here that in the first sentence, the past progressive is at the beginning, whereas in the second sentence, the past progressive is at the end. If you're interested in learning more about grammar or pronunciation or any English questions at all, I would love to hear from you.